So perhaps, no promises.
Oh, yeah.
This could be our last podcast
We've
on
said
government.
that before. This is the series that never ends. We do that with a lot of our series.
Yeah.
You just find something good. You're like, oh, we can add this on.
Yeah, this aspect of it. We weren't necessarily planning for this.
We weren't.
It's kind of out of left field or right field, depending on your political spectrum.
It's one of the things I like about the PCA. I don't agree with that. I think PCA overall is a good denomination, Presbyterian denomination. I feel like they don't get everything right. But I like that they produce these position papers.
Yeah.
Because they're usually like 30, 60 pages long.
Right.
A lot of scriptural basis. They like unpack things I honestly usually don't.
I'm going to start writing these for our own church.
There you go.
Just like, hey, this is our position now, and it's basically
it's there. It's one of the nice things about a denomination. We're a non-denominational church, which I think also has its strengths, but one of its weaknesses is you don't know where everyone stands. You can look on a church website and like see your statement of faith. For most churches, it's going to be not bare bones, but it's going to hit the essentials.
Yeah. Have you ever seen a statement of faith from a Protestant evangelical church that you'd be like, oh, that's heresy? Or that's wrong. I've never seen anything that I'm like,
oh, it's like terrible.
Yeah.
The only thing I've ever seen people post on Facebook groups is like, oh, look, they said something wrong about the Trinity. Like they didn't mean to, but it was like an accident.
Right, accident.
Yeah, but not like purposeful.
Yeah,
like they were
probably
probably
like just like water can be gas or liquid or solid. The Trinity. Yeah. Sorry,
but you're right. Like if you were to look on, which I think this is overboard, but if you go to like John MacArthur's church website, they have like very in-depth stuff, like hyper detailed. Right. And then if you Presbyterian church, they'll just say like, Westminster Confessions, and you can look at the different denominations, their different reports. You can really know what they mean, pros and cons. Because this is what I've heard. This is like a horror story of like back in the day, someone joining a mega church. I don't want to say it was like Elevation or one of these big churches. It was a church like that maybe. Yeah. And it's like they
you do know the church though? I
can't remember off the top of my head, but it's like one of these. Yeah. And like they served in the church for a couple years. They started leading a small group, and then or maybe they wanted to lead a small group, or they wanted to grow more, and they found out like the church was like against same-sex marriage, and they're like that doesn't. And talking about the views, they weren't allowed to lead the small group because they believed in same-sex marriage. They weren't a same-sex couple, but they're like that's okay. But it's like. They didn't know that after
that long?
How can you be in for 2 years? It's like the church didn't touch that issue. It's not on their website. It's nowhere.
Right.
That's like the real bad effects if you like don't know. You have nothing like no doctrine. You know.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're saying no creed but Christ maybe isn't the best thing to say.
Right. Totally. And so all to bring it back, the PCA has this paper on Christian nationalism.
Yeah.
That's pretty recent.
Love the paper, love Christian nationalism. I don't know. You'll have to wait to find out.
Oh, that's right. And it's so connected to government and politics. It's like, wow, we should tackle this.
Yeah, I think that's great. So
let's take it to the next level.
Let's fire up that twangy music.
From the heart of the Low Country in South Carolina.
It's the Take Two podcast, where we take theology to the next level.
I started reading this report.
Yeah.
And first thing I tried to do was scan for a definition. Like, what is Christian nationalism? That's the question I always have.
That's the crux of it. And I think before steal our own thunder, there's one of the writers that's like, I'm fine with Christian nationalism. And I think two of them are like, we're not fine with that simply because there's no definition.
There's no definition.
So you say you are fine with Christian nationalism. People can fill that with whatever they think, and I am split on this because who came up with the word Christian nationalism?
That's a great question. I don't know its origins and how it's evolved and that kind of thing, because
I'm nationalistic
and you're Christian
and I'm a Christian.
Are you nationalistic?
Racist, just means hey. I want America to do well. I want to serve my country. I am patriotic. I don't think that my country's perfect, but I think it's good.
See, because when I think of Christian nationalism, I think it's something different.
Right.
Where I think I'm playing devil's advocate, just a bunch of racists who are like, no one should intermarry.
Flags, stuff in my Bible.
And you can say the same term and think
Moses had slaves, we should have slaves.
Yes.
I don't know if Moses had slaves. I just said that.
So it's like very confused. I was like, oh, I wonder where they're going to land. And they basically were like,
shotguns.
It's confusing.
Well,
it could mean a million things.
You can have a shotgun without being racist, but I'm just trying to paint that picture of that, hillbilly, Bible thumping racist, which is what you come to mind.
Exactly. And I think why I wanted to bring that up at the outset is I think this committee said a lot of good things. This paper's really good. That being said, if you're looking for like this silver bullet, this is what it is and it's bad or it's good, that's not what they say. They break down specifics and give input, which I think is, I affirm this, I deny this, and that's really good.
And I think that's what you have to do because when you have a term, I don't know if Christian nationalism, to me, I think Christian nationalism was this term that was foisted upon every person who is pro-America and pro-Jesus and kind of conservative. And if I make this term broad enough and I make it politically nasty enough, then I can disenfranchise you. I can minimize your voice. That's what I think. I feel like reasonable people like me have had their voices diminished because you could slap this label on me. But
negative label,
not all of it is. Some of it's true, but not all of it's true. If you just have this broad thing that could be anything, then I can just like shut you down. Like people calling other people fascists, like you don't even know what that word means. Stop using it.
Right. Yeah. Totally true. So as we get into it, what this committee was doing, they weren't trying to just give this whole political ideology, this political theology, settle every little bit, but they went through and had 12 plus whatever areas and looked at, is Kinism bad or good or whatever, and they looked at different things.
I've never even heard of the word Kinism before this.
Really? Yeah.
Have you?
Well, I've always heard it. There's this guy named Stephen Wolfe who wrote this big work on Christian. Maybe it's called Christian Nationalism.
He's one of the authors here.
Okay, he wrote one of the paper.
He's one of the authors here.
So he gets accused of being Kinist all the time.
Yeah.
Like that. People are like, because he says things like, and we could talk about this because I think his view is more nuanced, but he's very provocative with his tweets, and he'll be like, I think it's a sin for an American person to marry an Asian person, kind of thing, because you need to be a same culture. Blending cultures is a sin, and he says things that is very like stirs people up.
He's going to say that's unequally yoked because you have different value systems.
Correct, essentially, and he would say everyone you should be pro your nation over. You should value your nation over if it's us or Mexico. We're winning. And the way he says things, I think, are more provocative. Right. He's basically going to say, I love my kids more than I love Michael Mott's kids. That's natural. We should extend that out where I should love Charleston more than I love Greenville.
I'm going to feed my kids. I'm not going to feed your kids.
It kind of deal. And so the way he says things, he has this big book on Christian nationalism I have not read. But
he's the one in this author. He's the one who, of the three authors, who was like, I'm fine with the label Christian nationalism.
Probably so, yeah.
And the other two are like, no, it's too ambiguous. It doesn't have the meanings in it. Yeah.
So anyway, we can get into it, and I don't know if this is going to be in the notes, and I don't know enough about it, but there's different versions of like the Westminster Confession of Faith, or, you know what I mean? And America's different than England's, and this like plays into things as well. So it's very fascinating.
Yeah. That's good. It seems like I'm going to say something else, but let's just roll with it, and that idea will come back.
Great. Well, let's go ahead, and maybe we can jump down to point number 2.
Yeah.
This report begins by affirming this renewed interest in Christian political theology, and it doesn't take you don't have to be like keeping up with the times. I feel like it's all over the place.
Yeah.
This term, you'll see like Doug Wilson in Moscow, Idaho, has been accused of like he's trying to take over Moscow, and they're trying to get like their homeschool co-ops taking over. They have like book publishers. They're trying to like own coffee shops, and they're like, that's Christian nationalism, all these different things. But all that to say, politics are polarizing.
Politics are polarizing, but I think Christians should be partaking in politics.
We should,
right?
absolutely.
Because if we're not, we're sinful. We're not perfect. But if we're not, then we're just handing it over to people that we think that don't. Like, I think obviously we believe what we believe is true. If we didn't, we would believe something different, right?
Yeah, totally. And this paper does good. Is like, we're glad that people are interested in politics.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if this is like part of like growing up and getting older and this kind of stuff, or it's just the times we live in, maybe both. I feel like, I'm in high school, I'm in college, I'm like libertarian all the way. Everyone just leave everyone else alone.
Yeah.
And the older I get, I'm like, we should be having influence a little bit. It's not
right.
like, I kind of do think like keep to yourself a little bit, but people do bad things, or you know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you kind of
you
evolve
wouldn't
from
say,
that.
well, we know that those parents starve their kids and
Right.
beat them. Like, no, we're not going to allow that. So, and I think that's the tricky thing we talked about, like in our very first episode. Where do you? Because if it's like a slider of no influence, to we're going to make telling a white lie illegal. Obviously, that's the end of the extreme that we think is wrong. Not that white lie in caps, but so
right,
in quotes. But so that's the tricky part: is how much do you want your government to be, make sin illegal?
Totally. And so, big picture is interest in politics. This has been good, and that's what the committee is saying. Like, this is good. We don't want to say like be apathetic. But get in there. Don't withdraw. Don't keep your faith totally private. Maybe there's some boundaries on the other side, but that would be a bad response to you don't like the way things are going. You just like wave the white flag.
Yeah. So some quotes from the paper. We wish to communicate our gratitude to God for a growing renewal of interest in Christian political theology. Civic engagement at every level is good and honorable thing, worthy of the best efforts of conscientious Christians. Enthusiasm for reformed political theology and renewed willingness to implement its insights in concrete ways in contemporary life is no threat to the welfare of the church or the cause of Jesus Christ. So,
those
pretty
are good.
positive.
And those are strong statements, which I think dovetails nicely into this next point, that this committee, that being said, is alarmed by some of the strong statements. So don't be quiet, don't withdraw, but you can go overboard and be heavy-handed and say some pretty crazy things. And I saw this, I don't think it's about Christian nationalism, but I saw this tweet or post by Jeff Durbin, and I don't have it in front of me, but he was basically like, you go back in time several decades, he feels like the church was so heavenly minded that it would like neglect things of earth. It was so pious. Now it seems like there's been a switch where everyone's like so earthly minded. It's like you do lean into maybe being more crass and like opposite of pietism.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna get things done. It's God's given us a physical world to live in, and we have influence. And I think it aligns with all this Christian nationalism kind of thing. And we got to balance these things.
Yeah, and what I don't want to hand over is I want to leave room. And this is maybe my sinful carnal nature. Tell me if I'm wrong.
I will.
For political satire, for political parody, for political comedy, because sometimes I think those are our best tools to wake people up and let them see the truth, because it kind of sneaks around their natural defenses. But I know that can go overboard and can become crass, can become... I think Matt, in our conversation a couple weeks ago, he said something like, I love my daughter. She's in the image of my wife. If I didn't love my daughter, people would wonder, how could you love your wife? And then he made the point, well, the same way humans are image bearers of God, it's hard to say that you love God if you don't love humans. So I get that. And so I think there's this fine line. I think you can go
right. And
over
it is
that
fine.
line.
Yeah. I think a lot of times you know it when you see it, when something's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like, it's bad. And sometimes it is like on that line, like, oh, that's kind of funny because it's true, and it's kind of like sad, and it's like hurtful, especially when it's about things maybe like abortion or these kind of things, and you're making a point, and be like, but it's like, kind of need that point to be made. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Because like the Babylon Bee, I think is funny, and they probably used that meme of the lady that Matt was talking about that's like crying out when Trump is elected the first time. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong for not being as offended as Matt is over seeing that meme 100 times. Like, that person is probably...
Yeah, it's
tough for that person individually, but that a meme becomes that way because that picture kind of captures in 1,000 words what you can't say in an actual 1,000 words.
Yeah, I get what you're saying too, and like for the Babylon Bee, I think is a good example. I think 90% of the time, I am dying laughing, or I'm like, I don't think it's funny, but I get the point.
Yeah.
There are like 10% of the time I'm like, you guys went too far. You guys definitely went too far. Like, this is too much. And so I think you're right. It's a fine line, but you do kind of know it when you're past it.
Yeah.
And you kind of know it when you're on the line. It's hard to say. That being said, I like this quote. We cannot help but be alarmed by the intemperate and unclean speech adopted by some of those who call themselves Christian nationalists. And I think, a lot of times they're punching...
I wonder how they would define unclean speech. Is it just the use of curse words? Or is it something that is demeaning to the person themselves? Like if they're like true. AOC is and they fill in all these things that are negative about AOC. I wonder what is in view, because I think we've talked about this before. Sometimes I liked this reel from this European who was talking about different things he'd experienced. But, I mean, it was just F-bomb, F-bomb, F-bomb. I'm like, should I unlike this? I don't know, because I think people can maybe sometimes see the reels you like. And so, so I wonder what because the F-bomb doesn't offend me, but I know it offends others, so I don't use it because I don't want to be rude. But I'm not offended by the F-bomb. But some people I know are. So I wonder if that's what they have in mind for this unclean speech, or if it's because they just say, some of the examples here: crass language, cruelty, belittling speech, or contempt. And I would say definitely the last three: cruelty, belittling speech, or contempt. Sometimes that does. Yeah. Sometimes that is used in satire and parody.
It's tough too, because they're a lot of times, I think, overcompensating in a way just to contrast. Maybe like at the top they talk about like masculinity discourse, like just in the face of some of this like effeminate stuff that we see men doing, like it's almost like overly masculine. But maybe I wouldn't say things this way, but I think you're kind of like trying to draw a lot of contrast, you know what I mean? And I'm like, they're coming on a little heavy, but that might be, hey, if you have a church in Boulder, Colorado, that's just like how it comes out because you're surrounded by that all the time. I don't know. But yeah, I wish there was more examples of this kind of thing. But I kind of know what they're talking about, I think. And some of it like I'm okay with, and some of it I'm like, okay, I'm not okay with.
Yeah, I agree with you. Another quote from the paper: "We dare not imply that such observations about our Lord Jesus Christ can validate in us cruelty, belittling, and disrespectful speech or contempt for those with whom we may differ." And I can only assume that they're talking about when Jesus is kind of talking very sharp to the Pharisees, that some people are using like, well, this is how Jesus talked to the Pharisees, this is how we're talking to our political opponents. Is that what you understand that quote to mean?
I think you're probably right. And as I'm looking, I don't know what your thoughts are, Michael, too. There's a lot of points in these notes.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do we fly through each point, or do we just see how far we get?
Yeah. I mean, we are 3 pages into 12.
Yeah.
So we may not make it through.
Which is fine. Half and half or something? Yeah. Is that fine with you? Okay.
Yeah. 6 pages.
Point number 4, I think that's good.
Yeah.
The report, and this is where I think the report is good, because it's calling, sin. It targets race realism, Kinism, and anti-Semitism. I never know, is it Kinism or Kinism? I never know how you're supposed to say it.
I don't know. I assumed Kinism.
That's what I thought,
like
too.
Like I said, I'm ignorant of this word. Ignorant is not necessarily a bad thing. So I've said this to people, like, well, I think you're ignorant of that, and they've taken offense. I'm like, I'm not trying to say you're stupid. I'm just saying that you're unaware of something, which is not always bad. But yeah, I was ignorant of this word prior to reading this report. You looking up the definition or
I'm trying to look up tweets by Stephen Wolf. I want to give exactly like why people call them, because he does have a tweet. He says, "I'm not against interracial marriage, interethnic marriage, or intercultural marriage, because no marriage is inherently bad." But he thinks I've not even read this to myself. I think, for example, an American Indian tribe can have a reasonable expectation that their people marry other American Indians in the interest of ethnic preservation. They should not forbid any marriage in particular, but seek certain group level outcomes. So I think those are his clarifying tweets, because I think his first tweet was like, I think it's bad for, people to, and he might have even said like, it's not ideal for like a South Carolinian to marry someone from like New England. It's like you're just too much different culture. It's hard to, kind of thing. I'm gonna try to find, just because he's like the guy. But let's keep talking about
So I'll read a quote while you're looking for those quotes. So one quote from the paper about the big point, I think you already read it, but just in case, it says report specifically targets race realism, Kinism or Kinism, and anti-Semitism, and this is one of the quotes that support that conclusion. We wish to warn the members and officers of the Presbyterian Church in America of some expressions of what is called Christian nationalism that embraced forms of anti-Semitism, race realism, and Kinism. And both of these terms, race realism and Kinism, I can only assume that by race realism they mean that there is a real difference between a real difference between whites, blacks, Asians, whatever that happens to be.
And then what's also confusing when you say stuff, it's like, I don't know how much I should have researched this more. How much he's like saying like ethnic differences versus color of skin. People get that confused all the time too. You know what I mean? And then it's confusing, and you kind of read what you think he's trying to say into it. But I know I've seen some like tweets from him that I'm like, oh, this is like kind of crazy. But I've seen a lot of clarifying tweets that I think he's just a provocative person. And when he explains himself, the explanation sounds a heck of a lot better than the original tweets that I was coming across.
So race realism, if this is a new term to you like it was to me, it is a largely discredited pseudoscientific belief that the human races are biologically distinct, and a legal philosophical framework in critical race theory arguing that racial hierarchy is a permanent feature of a society. And so I think we would reject both of those ideas. It seems like there might be, there are a lot of black folks who are really good at basketball. I think it's fine to acknowledge that there might be strengths that some races may bring to the table, but that doesn't mean that they're not. We're all human. We're all biologically descended from Adam.
That's great. This is a good sign. I'm like trying to look up his racist quotes, and it's hard to
find one.
Hard to find. So his quote, I keep getting the same quote that's like, he says things like, what I'm trying to say is interethnic marriage is not absolutely wrong, but it can be wrong. So I think that comes up because he's like been like probably saying that a lot, trying to clarify, because everyone's saying I think interethnic marriage is wrong because that's what I saw, but that's like what got elevated, to the front.
Gotcha.
So that is positive. Great nation. Anyway, and then something else this report touches on is anti-Semitism. I feel like I've seen so much about the Jewish people, like a lot. I know it's like always, that's like their whole thing is like, hey, we're persecuted all the time. But it's like, I feel like that's like in my newsfeed a lot, pro or negative, like all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's a big thing.
Do you watch a lot of it? Because if you watch it, then they'll give you more of it.
Oh yeah, maybe that's it. So you're not seeing anything.
I see. There was a time right when we were attacking Iran that I saw an increase in those two, either pro-Israel or anti-Israel, but it's gone down for me. I don't see it a lot these days.
Because I see either like, oh man, Jews are being really discriminated against, or I see the opposite, like, man, Jews just get their way all the time and are calling all the shots, or you know what I mean? So maybe Jewish people they have not really been in the news lately either way, but I feel like I get fed that.
To me, no, all humans are fallen. So Jews, Israel,
no one has
they're sinners, they make mistakes, right?
Yeah.
I think the bottom line for me is if all the groups trying to destroy Israel set their arms down, Israel would go on, and all the nations around Israel would go on peacefully. If Israel put their arms down, they'd be wiped off the map. So to me, it's like, okay, not that Israel does everything perfect, or not that I agree with all their policies or what they do, but I'm like, okay, I am personally going to be pro-Israel remaining a state over there, in the Middle East. So
there you go. So the report talks about that kind of stuff. We're doing pretty good. Two more points. The committee affirms classical Protestant teaching on civil government, meaning that government is good. It's a positive. Yeah. Political order is good. Government, we talked about this in the past, has a specific role ordained by God. It restrains evil, and it's there to help promote human flourishing. When it does those things well, it's good. Doesn't nail it perfectly, but that being said, government's not like a bad thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and another quote, civil government remains provisional, penultimate. Penultimate means it's not ultimate. It's underneath the ultimate. It's and subject to divine judgment. So,
yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
I like that. We have an affirmation. I like the way these things are written. Historically with the Christian faith, there's affirmation and denials. I used to listen to this podcast, and for their banter, they would always start off with an affirmation and denial. But it'd be I found this cool app, I affirm it, or it's like it'd be like an affirmation. It was kind of funny, yeah. Things that they would talk about. So we've talked about that. Pretty good. Anything else you want on the fifth point?
No, I think that's good. I think our whole series on government has been basically saying that civil government is ordained by God, political order is good, government restrains evil. That's its purpose, right?
Part of you is kind of thinking why didn't the PCA committee just listen to our podcast?
I know. We're right here, guys.
That's great. Point 6, the committee explicitly affirms Christian political action. And I like this point. We've talked about it a lot. It's so easy to withdraw, be apathetic, but it's not just saying renewed interest is good, act on it, do something about it, vote, advocate, serve in office, pursue political reform. These are good things, and historically, they've been good things to do by Christians.
Yeah, it's we should find things that are good and preserve them, find places that are missing and be creative and to fill those things. Find evil plots and take them down. And I don't remember the fourth Coulson thing that Jonathan said, but
that was good.
Those 4 things.
Because with this Christian nationalist movement, there are groups of people, and I might have mentioned this elsewhere, but it's I guess you can transfer up to make $10,000 or $20,000 between people without getting taxed on it, gifts, whatever the limit is. And they're if we get 30 families together from our church and we go to middle of nowhere Alabama, we can start our own city, or it's and then we'll vote you as the mayor, whatever it is, and we'll bring this reform. That's a movement. We can pull our money.
Sounds like the Moscow kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're trying to do a Moscow on and you can do it in the small place in Kentucky. It's got really small, and their whole goal I think is noble. They're man, this place is, it's not like Detroit, very small, but it's industry's kind of gotten away from here. We'll revive it. You've got your landscaping business. I'll bring my bakery business, and we'll reinvigorate the city. There's a church there, and it's a kind of a cool idea.
Yeah.
But that's what some people are they're saying that's my ticket versus Charleston, South Carolina. Seems like we're trending. Give us 50 more years. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? This is how we're losing this. Let's go somewhere else and win that. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Cutting losses and going to rebuild somewhere else.
And saying we can have real change in a local government, and we'll be able to, be more in charge of that very local government.
Yeah.
And even not the government part, just your, no one's going to get mad at you for not baking a cake. It's you're running this town. You're clearly a big asset, and people know each other and this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Kind of a cool thing. Probably hard to pull off in practice for most people.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just move in my job.
It seems like
and everything.
there might still be someone finds out about this town and goes in and asks for a cake, and then I'm going to sue you under the state laws, regardless of what your local ordinance.
They would target this place to cause trouble, and that's also very, very true. There you go. Number 6. Oh yeah, we're talking about political action. Did you read this quote yet?
I have not. I don't think we've read any quotes from 6. So
go for it.
Let's hit it. Which one? The top one or the bottom? Top one. Faithful political engagement, including voting, public service, advocacy, and other forms of civic participation, is a legitimate expression of Christian love for neighbor. The second one, Christians may rightly seek political arrangements that better reflect justice, truth, and moral order. And I think that's what you're talking about is, whatever that political arrangement is, if it is better reflects justice, better reflects truth, better reflects moral order, go pursue it.
And it's one of those things, like, it is kind of cool. I don't think everything's like, nothing's ever perfect in all these situations, but even like you take Northwood Academy, you kind of have like a mini town city where it's like you got your coaches here and your teachers. And I don't agree with everyone totally on doctrine, but we're all on the same team. Or, you know, I mean, broad stroke speaking, where it's like things just, I mean, run differently. Yeah, there's like a different thing about, so you can kind of see the aspect that's very positive about this stuff. What I think's kind of a good teaser for next episode is this next episode where we get into the good stuff, where it's the American versus like the European, England, Westminster, like how that's different, because I think that's fascinating.
The Americans one is definitely better.
Definitely better. And this is where people have problems about Christian nationalism a little bit more. Like, what are you trying to institute? It's one thing to say Christians should vote. It's another thing to say, like, how specific are we going, or how, you know, it kind of gets a little bit more rubber meets the road.
Is it Christians concerned about what other Christians may inculcate as far as doctrine, or non-Christians concerned that their evil behavior may be curtailed?
Well, I think non-Christians for sure are like this. I think the Christians that are concerned about Christian nationalism, and I would put myself on one hand on that camp. On one hand, I like it, but I'm like, you know, people are gonna invoke all Leviticus and we're gonna live this way or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or it's like what the criticism is like. Well, are we gonna be like Anglican or Baptist or Presbyterian? Does everyone have to be? You know, because people will say, well, you know, if we go back to Martin Luther, if you were, you know, a Credo-Baptist, he would want you dead by the law, versus a Paedo-Baptist. Do you know what I'm saying? Even though we agree on, you know, faith alone and these things, like how strict are you going to make it Geneva like John Calvin? You would have real problems with Protestants today. People like Doug Wilson have written on this, and it's like, no, it'd be like very, he wrote Mere Christendom. He wrote a book called Mere Christendom.
Nice,
and he's like, there's like these baseline things. It wouldn't get hyper, you know, if he was running the place. Like he's, you know, anyway.
I think a lot of people who raise those objections are just raising them to be distractions.
I think so too.
To me, it's very simple. Like John Calvin, Martin Luther, they were people of their time.
Yes,
and just like they were, Martin Luther, by the way, one comment on one of our shorts. Have you read any of them yet?
I've read some of them. Yeah, this is great.
One of them said, "Utter nonsense. Thank you, Martin Luther." And I'm like, there's worse things to be called than Martin Luther. Well,
that's right.
I'll take it.
Not that I agree with Martin Luther with the clean shavenness now.
Not that we agree with everything Martin Luther said, obviously.
Yes,
but to me, it's like, obviously they started some stuff, but it doesn't mean we agree with everything.
And you're right. Product of their time.
We've grown from them, and we go, okay, now here is what mere Christendom would look like, and this is what we could all agree on. And not that you wouldn't have to make paedo-baptism. I don't think anyone's trying to make that an issue of legally.
And it's so fascinating, like doing like a history lesson, like how all the different states like had their different state religion and stuff. And that like so cool. Like it's like everyone had their confession, and like, you know, Anglicans were here. It's so interesting, like some of the past. But I think you're right. Like,
do you know what religion or what denomination the majority of the presidents were who had declared denomination?
I've looked at this before.
If you listen to the daily report by Al Mohler, is that who does it? The briefing
or something like that. Yeah.
This was last week.
Oh, what did he say?
Yeah, Episcopalian.
I've heard that. Definitely not Catholicism.
No.
Because we're Protestants. Like, I know JFK, that was like a big deal.
JFK and Biden, I think.
It was like not. It was
Catholics.
it was kind of like not shocking to JFK, but it's like, oh man, we're taking a turn.
Yeah.
Episcopalian. There you go, man. Trump is Episcopalian. What is he?
I don't know what he is. I mean, I think Trump is not necessarily a true believer. So pray for him.
Yeah, no, that is good. Well, there you go. Final take. I don't know why I always say last take. Final take definitely sounds better. Any major news on your front? There's no snakes today. I know you're bummed.
Oh man, we were supposed to have. This is going to air several weeks after we record, but it's currently June 28th.
It is.
Before, I thought you were messing with me.
I know. The way I said it too was kind of like, sorry, Michael.
Yeah. But I had just gotten we don't call it by its name, or we don't use its awake word. We say our robot friend. But
okay.
but the smart device in your home that's spelled Alexa. She gave me an alert that there was a heat advisory for today. And then maybe an hour after that, you texted 45 minutes and like, hey, sorry, our petting zoo is canceled. Did we let Gilbert know? He didn't respond.
He didn't respond. Leanne did text April because she was texting April too. Like, hey, April, and you guys come in. Then so.
Okay. Were they ever seriously going to considering coming out?
I didn't. I think, and this is not a direct quote, I think April's response back to Leanne was like, oh, Matt hasn't said anything to me yet. So maybe,
Gotcha.
it's like church. Yeah. So.
Gotcha. Yeah. And I just wanted to come out to help, his son and daughter know that snakes can be okay. I didn't warn him that there were snakes I
saw the text was very generic. Like, hey, having a little family outing. Come on out.
We love you, Matt. If you listen to this,
it's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, man. What a bummer too to have it canceled 2 hours before.
It's hard to get the word out.
Man.
But there is a firework thing tonight, so I'm going to go to Northwood Baptist.
Sweet. Well, we got at least one more government episode.
Yeah, the second half of this because we thought we were going to do this in one and we didn't because we just rambled on too much. But that's good. So maybe between now and then, if you haven't read the report, you can go find it. If you look up the PCA report on government, I'm sure Google will help you find it. I found it pretty easily. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's our take. Thanks for listening to Take Two. Find us wherever you find podcasts and on YouTube for those who want to watch our videocast.